think about what the brand message needs to be and how that's going to help be the end result. But then what is going to connect those dots from where we are now to the end? And I would argue something really, really, really important, that if it costs money, it costs money, but either way it has to happen. You have to set up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Marketing of the Mind. So good to be back with you once again. Special welcome to our good friend Nathan Hawks, president and founder of Arcane Marketing. Good to be with you again. How you feeling today?
It's a good day. It's a good day, Terry.
Are you pumped? Here a couple of weeks, we are heading to Funnel Hacking Live in Orlando, Florida.
That's correct. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually excited to see what I haven't learned yet.
Yeah. Well, you've been in this industry a long time. I've personally been to Funnel Hacking Live for the last 2 years and blown my doors off both years. And so I don't know, Russell Brunson and his team, they seem to do a fantastic job at finding really the industry's best influencers, speakers, gurus, experts, and bringing them together and putting on a heck of a show. I mean, last year we had Tony Robbins. The year before that we had Brendan Burchard, Dean Graziosi, just a whole slew of amazing people. And I know Tony Robbins is coming back again this year, so It's going to be Olympic.
You know, the funnest part about doing a conference like Funnel Hacking Live is that you know that it works. And so you're just there to say, oh, how can I do it? What can I do? And how can I make it work?
Exactly. Yeah, so pretty pumped for that. So if any of you guys happen to be joining the crew at Funnel Hacking Live 2021 in Orlando, Florida, we'll be super pumped to see you there. Be sure to stop by and shake our hands, and we'll take some selfies together. So, hey, today, as you guys know on Marketing of the Minds, we always answer your questions every single week. We jump on camera and spend some time answering questions from many of the professional service business owners, the dentists, the chiropractors, the architects, the engineers, the CPAs, the list goes on. These good, hardworking business professionals that run local businesses that are trying hard to grow their businesses. And oftentimes they run into various kinds of bottlenecks and issues. And so they submit those questions to us, and we're always excited to get those. We've got 3 questions today. One coming from Cheyenne, Wyoming, another from Snowflake, Arizona, and another right here in our hometown of Idaho Falls, Idaho. So Nate, are you ready to get started?
Okay, I'm ready now. I'm now ready.
Okay, buckle up. Here we go. So first question comes from Ethan. He is a periodontist, which is dental implants.
I know.
Like nobody knows what periodontists do, but
I thought you were asking if I knew what a periodontist is. Yes, I do.
No,
but does everybody else know?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. The average guy, that's tricky. Anyway, he is a periodontist here in Idaho Falls. He asks this: how do I know the topics people are searching for so I can adjust my website or online content? Nathan, go.
Great question. Hi, Ethan. Hopefully I can answer this in a way that'll help you out a little bit. There are different ways that we can answer this, and it's all going to be based on what it is that we want to accomplish. But for I guess with all things being equal and trying to just be upfront,
sure.
Let's assume that he's talking about topics for like SEO or something that he can write about. You know, he mentions how he can adjust his website or the content that he's making, probably because he wants to attract searchers based on the criteria of what they're searching. So here's what I would say. There are many, many different resources for research when it comes to digital marketing. Everybody has a tool. And in fact, at Arcane Marketing, we have subscriptions to 10 or 12 or 15 different tools that we use, or maybe more. Mm-hmm. But all of them serve a purpose. All of them give us some information and some data. And some of them are really good to help us find search volumes for certain types of keywords. And so where he is a periodontist and he's saying, I wanted to know, like, how do I attract maybe this more condensed or specific type of audience, right? Because not everybody needs a periodontist. Well, let's hope that not everybody needs a periodontist all the time. And so here's what I would suggest. There are a couple of places where you can do some keyword research. Ones that are just coming off the top of my head here are, there's a tool that was put out by Neil Patel some time ago. We have a subscription to it. It's called Ubersuggest. And what you can do is you can put in a website or a keyword, and it starts to give you some really relevant information that is attached or like something in the same topic as that keyword. So he could type in periodontist or implants or something along those lines in that tool, and it would start making some additional suggestions. It recommends, it tells you a little about what some of the search trends are, like when the volume of the search of the keyword is higher than other times. It tells you approximate volume in search traffic per month. It tells you, now, one of the things that a lot of people may or may not already know is that if we are trying to jump into something that's pretty new, there's already somebody out there that's doing it.
Right.
So we can see what they're doing well in or not. And so one of our research tactics is that we typically will type in a competitor's website, something that, and maybe it's not a competitor, maybe it's just somebody else in the industry.
Correct.
And then we can look at what are some keywords that they rank well for, or what are some of the topics that are outlined on their website. There's another tool that I really like. And it has its unique purpose. It's called Answer the Public. So it's answerthepublic.com. And it has changed a lot over the last couple of years. But the tool is designed to give you suggestions based on search volume in Google. And the suggestions are literally what are people typing into that search query bar in Google. And it'll tell you, so you type in a keyword and it starts to give you the who, what, when, where, why associated with that keyword, any like pieces, and it tells you which ones are higher or more often searched, higher search volume. It might tell you sentences. It gives you full-blown sentences of how people might use it in a search. And if you don't have a subscription, I believe you get 3 free uses per day. Anyways, I'm not sure if it's per day or per month, but
the thing I like about that website is it always frames the answers in the form of a question, kind of like Jeopardy or something, right? So if he goes and he types in dental implants, it might come back with who are dental implants for, or how do I get dental implants? Again, the who, what, when, where. It's always kind of in the form of a question that helps you and I as business owners and marketers say, okay, well, let me answer that in an article or a blog post or a social media post. So great.
That's right. Another tool. Anyway, so that's a great one. And then one thing you can do is I believe you can export data out of that tool. So that's really helpful. It puts it into either a PDF or in a spreadsheet for you to give you some ideas, and you can use that. Another tool that comes to top of mind, it's really common in the digital marketing world, is Sem Rush.
Okay.
And you can find out all kinds of information, whether it's for pay-per-click or for social media or for organic search from that tool. Again, can export, use it to search competitors, see what they pull up for. I have a little process that I go through to help identify not only good keywords, but which ones are less competitive and still have some good traffic. We might have to talk about that another time. That might be a little Sem Rush hack process, or we could, anyways. So that's what I do. But I will give you this piece here, Ethan, is that regardless of what the keywords are you want to be in front of because of search volume, that shouldn't be your foremost thought. It really should be, how are you going to do the very best at your job, and how can you explain that to people? And when you're doing that, those search terms kind of just naturally come out.
Yeah.
So if you are doing what you should in explaining about your brand, about your office, about your staff, or some of the services you provide, or how you go about doing it, or what makes you different than other people. If you're really focused on helping to do really good education and maybe err on the side of layman's terms as opposed to technical terms, so that everybody can understand, I don't even know if some of those other tools are completely necessary. So if you are unarmed or unsure how to find those tools, or even want to use them or export any data, go with what you know. That's what I would say.
I love your emphasis on jargon. It seems like when you're an expert in your industry, in your field, so often we use technical terms, jargon, acronyms, and just things that people in the industry, we understand, but outside of that to our customers, they don't know those buzzwords and those kinds of things. So think a little bit like a kindergartner, pretend like a kindergartner, an elementary schooler is typing and searching for something. What kinds of words and phrases would they use? You're probably going to hit it right on the mark, but avoid some of those fancier, more technical terms because people don't know those to even search them.
That's right. The assumption you should always make is that your audience just doesn't know.
Correct.
And so assume they don't know and try and start at the beginning and then, work it out and make it simple so that everybody can understand.
Keep it simple. Awesome. Great. Next question comes from Cindy. She's a CPA or works at a CPA firm in Snowflake, Arizona. Thank you, Cindy, for your question. She asks, how do we make our Facebook posts such that more people will actually interact with them? So good question. How do we get, frankly, more people to interact with our social media posts? What do you think?
Well, I don't even know if it's just specific to Facebook.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like, how do we put together some social media posts that are more effective, right? Engagement's a big deal. So I'll just tell you a couple things. Simply making a post, and if it's on Facebook, or LinkedIn, you can do just text-only posts, no problem. And that's kind of the baseline, like that's the minimum that you could do. And like sort of a half step up from that is you might put a link in your post, and it usually pulls up a preview of that link right below the post in the news feed for everybody. But I would say a text message is the baseline. It performs very so-so. It doesn't matter what the text says. If you're thinking about it, nobody goes to Facebook to actively research a topic or to shop for something. It's usually to check in, to keep up, to see what's happening, and then you're disrupted with an ad or a post or a video or something like that that catches your attention, and then you engage. So how do you make that happen more often? Well, images are 68% more engaging than just text. So if you're going to start somewhere, throw an image in your post. But hey, that's what Instagram is all about. It's just images, right? You can't even not do an image in Instagram. But then what's the next step up from that? So even better than images, video is 38% better than just an image. And then that includes, and you can do that on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Instagram specifically, and TikTok. So videos are probably one of the very best ways. But how do you refine that a little bit? So one of the suggestions, or one of the things we've helped a lot of our clients do that have that same question is, there's that old adage that nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And maybe you have to take some of this offline to help increase what happens online. And what I mean by that is sometimes a really effective method might be building a community or a certain group on Facebook. Facebook groups are awesome. Usually it's exclusive to a certain idea or a category or a type of people. Great example of maybe you're into ATVs and UTV riding, right? There's an event that may be coming up and people want to talk about, well, I've added this upgrade to my Polaris RZR, or I've added these wheels and tires to my Kawasaki motorcycle, whatever the case may be, right? And other people are like, oh yeah, well, did you do this, or have you thought of this? And there's great suggestions. Everybody always wants to help each other out, but a group about a specific topic is a great way to make that happen. So if you're, talking about CPA stuff, I mean, right? Accounting and I'm not saying it's exciting, but maybe there are people who want to engage in that, and you can slowly start to invite and bring people into this group. And as the group grows, there tends to be more involvement. Okay. I would also say, maybe as some quick points to just hit, everybody likes a question.
Yeah.
Ask a question. Maybe you know the answer, but that's inconsequential almost. Why don't you see what other people have to say? It's a hook to get them to be involved. One of the questions could be that maybe you are asking or running a poll. Would you prefer A, B, or C? Find out. I think another one that tends to get people's attention a lot really well on social media is if you run some kind of a contest or a giveaway. Everyone wants to be involved in that or have the potential to win, especially if you show how fun it is and what maybe there's a good cause. And it also works really well to invite people to an event. An event tends to get lots of engagement, right? Whether that's an open house, maybe you want to invite people into your office to say, hey, come look at who we are, how professional we are, or the kinds of things we do. Come know that we exist kind of thing. Or maybe you're putting on a webinar. Hey, we're here to answer all of your questions. So let me tell you what it's about and how this works and what the agenda is. And people respond to that.
You bet.
But ultimately, in that, going back to that care statement, when you pull it offline, I think that has a big impact on what happens online. So one of our clients is a convenience store chain, and they want to know all the time, like how they can get more people to interact with them on social media for a convenience store, gas stations, right? More than just a pit stop for snacks or using the bathroom or something. And we came up with this really great idea of having them get involved in community events. Now, there could be like a 5K or something that's coming up, or maybe there's some charity event that you want to try and be a part of. That always grabs at people's emotions, that you do care, that it's for a good cause. So that's a great way to make that happen. I think that you can also then give people a call to action to say, come be involved with us, come be a part of this group, come and learn more, whatever that is. So that's what I would do. I think there's a whole bunch of different ideas. I hope that helps out, Cindy.
That's great. Well, thanks for the question, Cindy. That's awesome. Well, lots of good feedback there. Well, we're making good progress. We're on to our last question, Nate. You've done good. You've done very, very well. This one's the hardest one of them all.
This one's going to hurt the worst.
This comes from Bethany. She works at an urgent care clinic in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and she asks, what is the best use of my marketing dollars when it comes to online marketing? We know that there are only 4 billion different ways to market and promote a business, and there's 2 billion of those that are online on the internet somehow, some way. So when the question comes, which one of all these choices do I choose? What are your thoughts?
Maybe this might be the most broad question we've been asked. And so that also means there's probably 4 billion different ways we could answer it.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that I'm probably going to give you a little bit of opinion. I don't know if what I'm saying is going to be completely factual, but it's based on what I've experienced over the last 15 years. But I think the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what is it ultimately that you want to accomplish? And how can you make it so that whatever marketing objectives that you have or whatever mission you're on, how does that help you reach the end goal? When we're strategizing with clients, one of the things that we like to do is say, what do we want to accomplish? Is it to just build revenue? Is it to build traffic? Are we building engagement? Are we trying to improve your brand? What is it that we want to do? And once we figure out what the end goal is, we try and reverse engineer what the steps might look like from where we are today to what that end goal could be down the road. That helps us to determine how much money we should spend, where we should spend it, what kinds of activities and tasks we want to accomplish. So I'm going to bring up a couple of different pieces, but I mean, if you are asking a question like, where's the best use of my dollars for online marketing? Maybe I come to an incorrect assumption, or maybe it's not too far off, that you're kind of at the beginning of your marketing journey. Maybe your website's new, or maybe your brand is new, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, good.
So,
good thought.
But I don't think that in any case, whether you're Sony or Toyota or Best Buy or the NBA, everybody can use branding help. And so I don't think you can go wrong by working on your branding, okay? And so when you first ask yourself, what is it that you want to accomplish? think about what the brand message needs to be and how that's going to help be the end result. But then what is going to connect those dots from where we are now to the end? And I would argue something really, really, really important, that if it costs money, it costs money, but either way it has to happen. You have to set up tracking. You have to set up tracking, right? If you can't improve what you don't measure. And so how do you know you're getting better if you're not tracking those things? So that's a little wink, wink. Get some tracking set up if you don't have it already. But there's three ways that it could happen, right? Way number one is social media is really a great way to make a brand introduction. In fact, I don't even know of a better way to get your brand out there than through social channels.
Right.
And we were talking about this, in fact, just in a meeting with a client the other day, asking about social media and where do things stand in, September of 2021 or the latter half of 2021. And as it sits right now, the top social media platforms where you're going to get traction really quickly, regardless of who you are, is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube. Those are the areas where you can produce information and you're going to get some things happening because there's a very good audience, very good traffic at those places. But social media is designed not to be the end all be all for digital marketing. It's just where people play. That's where people play, whether it's personal or it's business. That's where people play. So social media is an invitation to learn more. So keep that in mind. I would also argue that there is valid use of budget to go towards SEO. And SEO can mean so many different things, but I'm talking very specifically in this scenario with content marketing. And content marketing could be what you write, what images or graphics you come up with, or what videos you're putting together. Content marketing is awesome. Additionally, help with links and link building and link acquisition. And SEO really helps people, I think, with two particular areas. One is when they're researching a topic or researching a brand or researching a company. If you have that information and Google makes the suggestion to list you wherever they do for a search query, and you get that click, you're sort of slowly earning their trust and their potential that they could become a customer or a patient or a client, whatever the case may be. And then the other piece, so not only besides research, but the other piece is that when we're able to pull them from social media or from other places and they're on your website, you have 100% control of the messaging. Take advantage of that. Hopefully it's distractionless, right? Like maybe you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and you see an ad for Zappos shoes and right next to your engineering firm practice, but somebody may be paying attention to the Zappos and then thinking something as they're scrolling past your post or your ad or what have you. But if we can get them to your website, those distractions are removed. And then one other area that might be worth looking into is paid search. Whether that's, and paid search in this case might be like in Google or in Bing, running pay-per-click ads. People who are in pay-per-click ads, you can appeal to the right kinds of people depending on where they are in their customer / buyer's journey. And it tends to be, pay-per-click tends to be, not always, at the bottom end of the funnel when they're about ready to make a decision. So it might be a smaller percentage of traffic, but people who are ready to make buying or decisions, choices, are people who will interact with pay-per-click. And so typically pay-per-click has a little bit better action with people who are ready to make that engagement, whatever that might look like. And if you're asking people correctly with the right kind of call to action, then you should be able to get those people rather quickly. As long as their ads and where you're taking to them, your landing pages are set up correctly. So, but I think that's where I would probably start. After you've done those things for a while, you'll know what's working and what's not working, especially if you're doing tracking. And then it's easy to say, well, I spent this much money in these different areas. This is working way better than this one. It might make sense to continue to put more budget towards the thing that is working.
I love that. That's so smart. There's a couple of things that I also think about when it comes to where the best place for your marketing dollars online. You'll never ever go wrong if you are just paying attention to your customers. If your customers are like older senior citizens, then where are older senior citizens online? Where do they go? If your audience or if your customers are primarily moms and families and kids, then where are the moms online? So when you ask yourself those kinds of questions, where are my customers? Where online are they? That starts giving you the answers of the kinds of platforms and the locations to be. The other one that's very obvious and very basic that I think everybody needs to be focused on is email. It's free, and the return on your investment for email communication to your existing customers is huge. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, a couple other additional thoughts there, but that's awesome. Well, I'm kind of noticing a little bit of a theme in our questions today. Ethan asked, how do I know the topics that people are searching for online? Other one was, how do we make our Facebook or social media posts more engaging? And where's the best place for our marketing dollars online? So there's kind of a theme there that it's kind of been interesting to hear your thoughts and your opinions on today. So, well, that's great. Well, we are out of questions for today. It's
I don't know if we're out of questions, but we're out of time.
Out of time, not out of questions. So, and on that note, if you've enjoyed our conversation today, if it's been helpful for you, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and most importantly, post your questions down below so that we can get those. And as you know, we use those questions every single week to answer in our conversations together. So great to be with you guys. Keep up the good work. Nate, any final words of wisdom for our audience today before we sign off? Any other comments?
I don't think I have anything additional today.
All right.
I'm tapped.
Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Take good care. Bye-bye.